All righty, guys. Good morning to all of you. I'm Ryan here alongside Joel, who is in the background here.
Hello.
We, oh, there he is. We are Michigan Storm Chasers, giving you guys a briefing update in regards to today's severe weather risks across Michigan. So, first and foremost, the SPC does have the entire lower peninsula of Michigan within a severe risk and also the extreme eastern portion of the UP also in a severe risk. It's a level 1 out of a scale of 5, so it's the lowest risk we can have. And that does encompass the entire lower part of Michigan as well. I know that the very far west corner is in light green, but within 25-mile point, the SPC outlooks would extend over to the West Michigan Lakeshore. So entire lower Michigan in that risk. All right. Your main concerns per SPC: number one, damaging winds, exact same areas. Nothing has changed with that. That's going to be your primary concern today. Wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour could take some power out in localized areas, also topple some trees. Secondary threat is large hail. Now, that does have a little bit different of a risk outline there. The southern part of Michigan, like Lenawee, Monroe, looks like St. Joseph, Cass, and Berrien counties do escape that, but anywhere else, you are pretty much in the same general vicinity, 25-mile point. So if you're within 25 miles of that dark reddish brown color, you are still within that risk area. Currently, there is no tornadic risk from the SPC anywhere in the state. But we do have one corridor we're going to mention for a potential storm that may try to rotate here. We're going to go ahead and jump into some models and go over that real quickly. All right. So today's analysis, how we expect things to develop, is currently across the state. The radar does show some scattered showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder up by the Tri-Cities, down also by Kalamazoo, up by Traverse City as well. Nothing is strong or severe at this point. Those should not be strong or severe until we get later on in the day after, we're going to say noon at the earliest, but likely going to be towards that 1-2 p.m. time frame. So judging, or should I say looking by the model here, looking at how this is going to evolve, let's go ahead and zoom in real quickly here to the lower Michigan look. It's a little bit of a zoomed in look here to give you guys a bit better idea. Let's go ahead and bump this forward to noon. We're going to see these showers and storms developing over here across Lake Michigan up toward Manistee, Ludington area. Those are going to push eastward here. And then we're going to see one or two cells here right around 3 o'clock that look to take on a really interesting feature here. They look like really good hail producers at the very least here, but these are the storms we're going to monitor for any type of rotation, just because looking at forecast soundings, the hodographs are well curved. We have a lot of low-level shear there. We also are going to lack in a few departments of things that would warrant the mention of a higher concern. But if the right conditions can come together, which it very well could, we may see these storms here try to rotate across. We're going to say roughly from let's go ahead and pull up a map here. I'm going to make sure I get this right. From right around Reed City over to the Gladwin Standish area, and perhaps over into the Huron County into the Thumb. Go ahead and move this forward here. This is 3 p.m. Let's go to 4 p.m. here. That cell continues across Gladwin County. It comes into the Tri-City, North Tri-City area, crosses the Huron Saginaw Bay, and then it goes into the Thumb there into Huron County. That's going to be the storm to watch today, or should I say the corridor to watch for anything that may try to spin today. Across the entire region of the state, the environment is not very favorable for anything tornadic. This should be a mainly damaging wind and large hail risk. If there's going to be anything tornadic, it'd be in that corridor. And the reason I say that is looking at the environment today, we do see a area here. We zoom in, that does have a little bit better of an environment here. We're going to take a forecast x-ray here out ahead of that storm. We're going to see one main thing here. The low-level hodograph is nice and curved in our lowest levels there. Our wind shear is directional, but we also lack a few things. Mainly, we want to see more in the way of low-level spin. We call it SRH. It's lacking just a bit, but also there is a slight cap in place here that should hold things at bay here. But in the event that cap is weaker or non-existent, at that point, we become a little bit more concerned. Overall, though, this isn't a bad sounding for that area. There is, again, some things lacking there, but there is enough that we're going to mention just a small chance of perhaps something tornadic trying to take shape. or maybe perhaps some rotation on radar. Okay, it shouldn't be an overall high threat. You see these grays here on this map indicating a little bit better of an environment. Further south here, there's really nothing to be concerned about. It's just this one particular pinpointed area out ahead of that cell that's shown on the HRRR. So if that does come to fruition, we're going to watch that closely. Otherwise, across the other parts of the state, we're going to see scattered development here. Roughly mid to late afternoon on this model. Could be earlier, could be a bit later, right around 2-3 p.m. or so, a little bit after that, perhaps. Any of these storms across the state today are in a very good environment for downdrafts. There's a lot of what we call decape out there. So that could produce some microburst, downburst in the way of damaging winds here. So any storm that pops up across lower Michigan and also the eastern parts of the UP would have that potential, as well as some large hail, although that risk I do think is kind of subtle as well. We'll see how that plays out today. But overall, it should be a day where there's going to be scattered development here. So many people will see a storm today, but not every storm will be severe. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people have plans for the 4th of July still. So if you're going out this evening, just keep an eye on the radar. We may do another radar stream today if we're not live for severe, although I do anticipate at some point today we will be live tracking these at some point today. All right. But outside of that, this is going to be through the time frames here. Go ahead and bump this back here to 1 p.m. Here's noon. Here's 1 p.m. Here's 2 p.m. Here's 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then as we get after midnight here, those showers will dissipate pretty quickly. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the UP as well. Can't forget our friends up there. I do know a lot of you guys do ask about the UP quite often. They are in at risk today. But overall, we don't have a zoomed in look, unfortunately, on this website for the UP. But I can go ahead and get you close here. If I can back out just a bit. There we go. Here we go. If there's a UP, here's 5 p.m. Back this up here. Here's 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5, excuse me, 6, 7, and by about 8 o'clock or so, the UP is done with the showers and storms. All right. With that being said, bring the SPC back up on the page here. There it is. Any questions, guys? So the corridor we're going to watch today, and again, this is a very low chance of anything happening at all. But if we go back here to our floater, there we go. Perfect. This storm right here that tracks west to east. So roughly this corridor right here. Roughly Reed City over to the Tri-City Saginaw Midland area, perhaps over into Huron County if it survives. That corridor looks to be the most concerning, but again, that's very low chance of that happening. It just has a little bit better environment showing up on the latest models. We're going to keep an eye on that just to be safe.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in one of our latest posts earlier, watch out for the triple point. So it's kind of where the cold front and the warm front come together. Again, being so close to the low center or low pressure center, things can happen pretty close to it. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll be out there chasing it today if anything does happen.
Yep. So that low would be right around, like that would be on the warm front, looks like, Joel, where that storm is. So yeah, that would make a lot of sense. You guys recall Gladwin's tornado a few weeks ago, Gladwin County, this is a pretty similar setup. We have a warm front draped across the area. The storm looks to track over the exact same area, although we will say the environment today is less favorable overall. It does look to have some characteristics of that Gladwin tornado a few weeks ago. Thank you, Skylar, for becoming a channel member. Appreciate that. Welcome to the team. Go. Instant Karma, thanks for becoming a member for a month. Will Eminem drop a video today around noon? I do not know that. I do not know that.
No idea.
Camping in Alpena, what does Futurecast show? So scattered storms today, really, across much of the state. Alpena on this model says a little bit later on this evening, perhaps towards 6, 7, 8 p.m. would be the best chance for a scattered shower or storm, but there's also some working through now in Alpena, so you're probably going to get rain here. Actually, you're clear for now in Alpena, but there is rain off to your south and west, although we'll see if that clears up for you or continues tracking your way. But otherwise, scattered showers are the main concern across much of the entire state today. The weather seems crazy this year. Yeah, Brenda, it certainly does. We've been live here probably, man, we've had about 180 days so far in the year, about 100 to 200 days or so. We've been live probably for at least 50 of those, it seems like, or more. Austin, we are not going to go over long range on this forecast. We do that on Sunday nights or in separate videos. This is a briefing strictly for today. Do you think there's a chance of an upgrade to a slight? Joey, I personally don't. I don't think it will. Again, here's your SPC outlook. So if you live anywhere in lower Michigan from Sheboygan down to the Ohio-Indiana borders, you are in a risk for severe weather today. The scattered nature of storms would mean most all of us, or should I say, we're going to say probably 75% of us are probably going to see rain or at least close to rain. But not every storm will be severe today. There's a pretty good coverage on models. So a lot of us will see rain at some point today. Do you think the weather is more crazy than last year than this year? I do think it was a little bit crazier this year than it was last year. Chances of tornadoes today, very low, Ray, very low. There was one corridor we mentioned a little bit ago, perhaps a little bit higher potential, but that's really the only place in the state that we're kind of seeing anything at all becoming concerning. It's going to be up here by Reed City over to the Tri-Cities, roughly this area right here. That's really the only area we're becoming concerned. It's a low concern. Time frame, again, right around 1 p.m. at the earliest, all the way up till right around 10 to 11 p.m. Do you think there's a chance that Lexington will cancel their fireworks? I have no idea. To pinpoint exactly when and where storms are going to be, right around that 10 p.m. time frame, it's kind of hard. Although there is a chance of rain across much of the state today, I really can't say when and where. So if it's raining, probably going to get canceled. But if you're lucky enough to escape the rain, it should go on. But again, it's really hard to pinpoint, especially at 12 hours out, where storms exactly are going to be. So what we'll probably do on the page is at least share some radar updates. If we're not already live, share some radar updates either via live stream or on our Facebook page across the state. So if you guys are prepared for tonight's, I know there's a lot of people having shows, whether backyard or professional shows. So we'll keep an eye on the radar for you guys. It's raining right now in Ann Arbor. Yes, it is. It's actually, there's a couple areas out there in the state. I have radar pulled up over here. Looks like the Tri-Cities are getting a pretty good thunderstorm right now up by Beaver, Linwood, Pinconning. Looks like Cadillac area, Traverse City area, getting some showers there. There's a couple storms by Shelby, Pentwater area, moving on shore. So scattered storms and showers are out there for sure this morning, including Ann Arbor. I'm seeing that. Otherwise, nothing strong or severe at this point, although that risk will increase as we get into the afternoon. So looks like we have a new member here. Thank you, Julianne, for becoming a channel member. Appreciate your support of the channel, and welcome to the team. There's Joel's face. Hi, Joel.
Hello.
So southeast Michigan, Nikki, is going to be mainly just damaging winds with perhaps some large hail. Any storm that pops up today would have potential for some downbursts or microbursts, which would then lead to damaging winds. That time frame again between 2 p.m. and roughly 10 p.m. or so. And again, with these pop-up storms today that we expect, it's kind of hard to predict when and where exactly. So we can only give you general time frames and general hazards. It's not like we have a big old line coming through across Lake Michigan we can track hour by hour. We can't do that with these types of setups. So unfortunately, we can't get any more specific. But between 2 and 10 p.m., watch for some storms that could pop up. Hey, look, there's a cat. And that goes for the entire state too, not just southeast Michigan. Is there a cap for southeast? There's a slight cap across much of the state today. It's not a very strong cap, but it's there. It's weak enough that we don't expect it to become that big of a concern, but we're going to watch it close, obviously. And if anything needs updating, we'll let you guys know as soon as we know. A new member, thank you, Julie, for becoming a channel member. Appreciate your support of our page. Welcome to the team, Julie.
Sure. Yeah, welcome, Julie.
Any other questions, guys? Can you show the radar around 5 again? Yes. So we're going to go hour by hour here for Lower Michigan. The UP on this model does not look concerning, which is why I'm zoomed in here to Lower Michigan. Starting at noon, which is right here. This is noon. Here's 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Here's 5. Somebody asked about 5 p.m. Here's 5. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then by about midnight and after midnight, we'll have those showers and storms on their way up. What's the cat's name, Joel? Somebody asked in the comments.
Cat's name is Hurricane, obviously.
There we go. Weather related. Storms will move roughly west to east today. Perhaps a little bit of deviant north or south movement, but should be mainly west to east. Hail should not be over 1 inch. It should be roughly up to an inch in hail, quarter size for being object related. So Skylar, good question there. So the model is saying the best coverage would be a little bit further north. Yes. But the overall environment across the state, if storms pop up, would favor severe weather in form of damaging winds and large hail. We do have microscale features like lake freeze boundaries that could spark off some showers and storms that these models have a hard time getting at. So if any storm pops up today, anywhere, it would have potential for some severe weather with it. But again, not every storm will be severe. A new SWS, special weather statement, out for Bay County. Nickel size hail and 40-mile-per-hour winds. Go ahead and take a peek at that real quick. We just mentioned that a little bit ago. We had a storm over the Saginaw or the Tri-City area. Let's go ahead and pop out GR2 real quick. Just take a peek at that. See what we're dealing with here. So here's your current radar across the state. Get that posted here on the page just a second. There we go. This storm right here in Bay County. That storm has just prompted a special weather statement, which is lower than a severe warning. So it's not quite severe, but it's close there. It's nickel-sized hail, which is just under a quarter. Get that on the page here. Take a peek at a few of these products here. Over Bay, moving about onto the lake here. Just a second. Oh yeah, there's some hail in there for sure. Yep, got a little hail there. Not too much to be concerned about though. Just some hail moving on to the lake here momentarily, just south of Pinconning. Go ahead and pop out our models here again. And for some reason I lost it. There it is. Perfect. Ah, there it goes. Okay, now we're good. We'll say there's a pretty hefty looking storm up by Ludington, Hart, and Shelby just offshore moving on too. We'll need to watch that one as well. Severe weather should hold off a little bit later into the afternoon, but these storms may be trying to get going early. So I believe Joel's timing map yesterday did have a little bit earlier start to thunderstorms. So that seems to be on track. All right, back to the comments here.
Y'all making fun of me. I just woke up.
Why does Joel always look like he's up to something? Because he is up to something, always.
Well, that and my friends are here. We're doing a tag team chase today, so
Ooh.
they're in the background.
All right, we're getting close to about a half hour on here. I don't see too many other questions popping in besides specific locations. And again, we can't get specific today, guys. All we can tell you is the entire state has a severe risk, minus the western half of the UP. If you're in dark green, you're in a severe risk, essentially. And that does include the West Michigan Lakeshore because it goes within a 25-mile point. So the entire lower part of Michigan in a severe risk, as well as the eastern part of the UP, Chippewa, Mackinac counties. Damaging winds, primary concern. Large hail, a secondary concern. And then a risk for a tornado would be highest along roughly Reed City over to the Tri-City, Saginaw, Midland Bay area. And then perhaps over to Huron County if that continues tracking. That looks to be the best corridor. And again, that's a low chance of that happening. Can you explain why the air quality is so bad today? One word: fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yeah, we saw a few posts, and we've actually I peeked into the air quality across the state. It's bad everywhere. Or at least it was overnight into the morning. Fireworks smoke is definitely in the air. In fact, I believe there was a few dense fog advisories out for that because it wasn't going anywhere. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that, but there are a few dense fog advisories issued this morning for the smoke. All righty. I don't see too many Will air travel be affected by this? Not entirely, but if you're in a thunderstorm, I'm not sure if airports delay for thunderstorms. I'm not really an aviation expert. Um, Across the state, I mean, it's going to be pop-up storms, so you should be good to go. It shouldn't be that long of a delay, really.
Yeah, timing map is up on Facebook. If you guys want to go check that out, I posted at like midnight last night because I got home from the fireworks. So
Is the rest of the weekend dry? So early Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, could have some showers in the area. Other than that, we should remain pretty much dry for the majority of us here in the state. We'll stay on about at least 3 more minutes or so. So if you guys got questions, feel free to drop those in chat now. Otherwise, we're going to pop out of here and get on with our day. I know Joel's going to be going chasing. I got some work to do here as well. So I don't want to spend too long here.
thank you, Red Dozier, for the gifted 5 memberships here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Appreciate your support as always.
Thank you, Red. Yeah, I can do that. So radar loop one more time for you guys. All right. Hour by hour. Starting with noon right here. Here's 1 p.m., 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. Here's 4. Here's 5. Here's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Here's midnight tonight. And then after midnight, it just kind of dies out. Big heat next week. You're not the first person who's asked that. And for some reason, I don't know where you guys are hearing the heat, but I don't see heat next week at all.
Unless you consider the 80s heat, which you know it is.
I don't see a day over 90. I see low 80s. We'll dive into the long term on Sunday with our weekly stream at 7 p.m. We'll talk a little bit about the long term there as well. Alrighty, guys. I think we're about to wrap this up here. I know Joel and I have a lot to do this morning, so we're going to wrap this up 30 minutes or so. Your overall synopsis, your entire lower part of Michigan and the eastern half of the UP in a severe risk today, level 1 out of 5. So it's the lowest risk we can have. So I'll call it marginal. Damaging winds is your primary concern across the state. Large hail, secondary concern. And then a low chance of a tornadic or perhaps some rotation developing roughly from Reed City over to the Tri-City area, perhaps into Huron County through the thumb. That looks like something right along this line right here where this cell is. Go ahead and draw it on the map for you, just so you guys know where I'm talking about here. This area right here. That's going to be the corridor here we're going to watch closer for some rotation in general. Low chance of that happening across much of the entire state, though. Damaging winds will be a primary concern. Any storm that pops up could produce downburst winds. Roughly mid-afternoon to the early evening would be your best time frame for that. So with that being said, you guys have a safe day. We're going to pop out of here and get ready to go into coverage mode today. And Joel's going to be chasing as well. So we got some work to do. So with that being said, we're going to pop out of here. All right, guys? You guys have a great day. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys likely later on this afternoon.
See you, everyone.